Welcome all. Let's discuss about the software development lifecycle model. Phases of a software project. Software project is made up of a series of phases. They are requirement gathering and analysis, planning, design, development or coding, testing, deployment and maintenance. It is a figure for the phase of a software project. First one, requirement gathering and analysis. During this phase, the specific requirements of the software to be built are gathered and documented. Any ambiguities must be resolved in this phase only. It is important to ensure that the right requirements are captured at every stage. The requirements get documented in the form of a System Requirement Specification document, that is SRS. Planning. This phase is to come up with the schedule, the scope and the resource requirement for a release. A plan explains how the requirements will be met and by which time. It needs to take into account the requirements, what will be met and what will not be met, for the current release to decide on the scope for the project. The planning phase is applicable for both development and testing activities. Design. Design phase is to figure out how to satisfy the requirements enumerated in System Requirement Specification document. In this phase, the requirement gathered in SRS document is used as an input and the software architecture that is used for implementing system development is derived. There are two levels of design, high level design and low level design. Development or coding. Design acts as a blueprint of the actual coding to proceed. This phase comprises coding the programs in the chosen programming language. It produces the software that meets the requirements the design was meant to satisfy. In addition to programming, this phase also involves the creation of product documentation. Testing. As the programs are coded, they are also tested. In addition, after the coding is complete, the product is subjected to testing. Testing is the process of exercising the software product in predefined ways to check if the behavior is the same as expected behavior. By testing the product, an organization identifies and removes as many defects as possible before shipping it out. Deployment and maintenance. Once the product is tested, it is deployed in the production environment for our first UAT. User acceptance testing is done depending on the customer expectation. In the case of UAT, a replica of the production environment is created and the customer along with the developers does the testing. If the customer finds the application as expected, then sign off is provided by the customer to go live. After the deployment of a product on the production environment, maintenance of the product, that is, if any issue comes up and needs to be fixed or any enhancement is to be done, is taken care by the developers. Maintenance is made up of corrective maintenance, adaptive maintenance and preventive maintenance. Quality assurance and quality control. Quality. Quality is extremely hard to define and it is simply stated fit for use or purpose. It is all about meeting the needs and expectations of customers with respect to functionality, design, reliability, durability and the price of the product. Quality assurance. It is defined as an activity to ensure that an organization is providing the best possible product or service to customers. QA focuses on improving the processes to deliver quality products to the customer. An organization has to ensure that processes are efficient and effective as per the quality standards defined for software products. Quality assurance is popularly known as the QA testing. Quality control. Quality control is known as the QC and focuses on identifying a defect. QC ensures that the approaches, techniques, methods, and the processes are designed in the project are following correctly. QC activities monitor and verify that the project deliverables meet the defined quality standards. Quality control is a reactive process and is detection in nature. It recognizes the defect. Difference between the quality assurance and quality control. Quality assurance. It is a process which deliberates on providing assurance that quality request will be achieved. QC is a process which deliberates on fulfilling the quality request. QA aims is to prevent the defect. QC aim is to identify and improve the defects. QA is the technique of managing the quality. QC is a method to verify quality. QA does not involve executing the program. QC always involves executing the program. All team members are responsible for the QA. Testing team is responsible for QA. QA example verification. QC example validation. QA means planning for doing a process. QC means action for executing the planned process. Statistical technique used on QA is known as the statistical process control. Statistical technique used on QC is known as the statistical quality control. QA makes sure you are doing the right things. QC makes sure the result of what you have done or what you expected. QA defines standards and methodologies to followed in order to meet the customer requirements. QC ensures that the standards are followed while working on the product. QA is the process to create the deliverables. QC is the process to verify that deliverables. QA is responsible for full software development lifecycle. QC is responsible for software testing lifecycle. Testing. Software testing can be stated as the process of verifying and validating that the software or application is bug-free, meets the technical requirements as guided by its design and development, and meets the user requirements effectively and efficiently with handling all the exceptional and boundary cases. The process of software testing aims not only at the finding faults in the existing software, but also at finding measures to improve the software in terms of efficiency, accuracy, and usability. It mainly aims at measuring specification, functionality, and performance of a software program or application. Software testing can be divided into two steps: verification and validation. Verification. Verification is the process of confirming if the software is meeting the business requirements and is developed adhering to the proper specification and methodologies. It ensures that whether we are building the product right, that is, to verify the requirements which we are developing the product accordingly or not. As per IEEE STD 610, the process of evaluation software to determine whether the products of a given development phase satisfy the conditions imposed at the beginning of that phase. It answers the question, am I building a product right? Activities involved here are inspections, reviews, walkthroughs. It is a low level activity. It is a static method of checking documents and files. It doesn't involve code execution. Low cost compared to the validation test. Validation. Validation is the process whether we are building the right product, that is to validate the product which we have developed is right or not. As per IEEE STD 610, the process of evaluating the software during or at the end of the development process to determine whether it satisfies specified requirements. It answers the question, am I building a right product? Activities involved in this is testing the software application by means of white box, grey box and black box testing. It is a high level activity. It is a dynamic process of testing the real product. It involves code execution, costly compared to the verification test. Process model to represent different phases. A process model is a way to represent any given phase of software development that effectively builds in the concepts of validation and verification to prevent and minimize the delay between the defect injection and defect detection. In this model, each phase of a software project is characterized by ETVX concept. E. Entry criteria. T. Task. V. Validation. X. Exit criteria. Entry criteria. Input with condition attached. Example, approved SRS document is the entry criteria for the design phase. Next, task. Procedures. Example, preparation of HLD, LLD, etc. Validation. Building quality and verification activities. Example, technical reviews. Exit criteria. Output with condition attached. Example, approved design documents. It is important to follow ETVX concept for all phases in SDLC. Thank you.